should Kyrie feel disrespected by Brooklyn?
Well, he can feel that way if he wants to. It's a free country. What I would tell you is this. Kyrie Irving is absolutely amazing. He's an amazing basketball player, a sensational talent, but he's also amazing for maybe one of the dumbest quotes I have ever heard in my life.
What?
This man, I watched his press conference yesterday. I want to read to you what they got on Twitter that he said. Now, remember, first of all, y'all just saw what he just said. I did my job. And then he said, we're in fourth place. Really? Fourth place. That's what he said. These are his words. I did not make this up. And you see, I got a problem because there's a lot of people that I butt heads with. And by the way, it ain't Jay Williams. Jay Williams and I are going to go back and forth, but that's my brother. It's all good. There's a lot of people that I butt heads with because, see, I take facts. And I'm saying this is what the person said and this is what they did. Now, J.J. Redick, with his brilliance, I will let him decipher and dissect some of the other things that Kyrie is and is not about. I'm not talking about him, the basketball. I know what a marvelous basketball player he is. I'm talking about what he said. I did my job. I was selfless. Really? We were in fourth place. You know, I left the team in good hands, and then I made sure to get a hold of this quote. When they asked him about Kevin Durant, he said, "There's water under the bridge now. I wish them well. I left them in fourth place. I did what I was supposed to do. Took care of my teammates. Was incredibly selfless." Do you think we are all on drugs? Do we all need to be drug tested? Is this man the only lucid dude on the planet? What am I missing? We really religiously lamented games missed, stuff that had nothing to do with basketball, infiltrating the basketball proceedings, getting in the way of team, getting in the way of productivity, getting in the way of cohesiveness, getting in the way of wins. He arrives in Brooklyn 3.5 years ago, won one playoff series in 3.5 years, and stood before the masses, knowing the camera's rolling, and said, I did my job. What are you talking about? Is it just me? I know that when he got there, he signed for $136 million. The brother missed nearly 50% of his games. They got one playoff series of a victory to show for it. And he is in front of the cameras, not in private, not off the record, not something clandestine, not something that was leaked. No, he looked at the camera with a straight face and said, I did my job. You can't make this up. I guess we all need to be drug tested. He's the one that's lucid. We are the ones that need to be drug tested because we're not seeing something. We're not seeing something.
He's a thousand. I wish I could argue with him, but he is a complete disaster. This is a guy who missed a road trip a couple years ago because he didn't want to go to Portland, Detroit, and Utah for a birthday party. This is a guy who did not get vaccinated, hurt his ball club, then did get vaccinated and was allowed to play. This is a guy who, after 46-point blowouts to the Celtics, leaves Durant and the rest of the team hanging. And nobody wants to hear from Irving. There is not a Net fan in New York, the few that they are, who cares about Kyrie Irving. This is a goodbye and good riddance. He killed Cleveland. He killed the Celtics. He killed the Nets. He should just pipe down and go out there and guys on a new team and see if him and Doncic can figure out how to work together and maybe win a couple of playoff series. As Stevie said, he won one with the Nets in a 3 or 4 year period. He is poison, and they will learn that in Dallas, like they've learned that in Boston, like they've learned that in Cleveland, and like I guarantee it, they've learned that in New York. They are so happy, every Net fan in this city, in New York City, that he is out of town. And when you're that good, and he is great, when you are that good and the fan base in the tri-state area is having a party because you're the hell out of there, that tells you all you need to know about Kyrie Irving.
JJ?
Look, I think both Doggy and Stephen A. here bring up a lot of great points. There's nothing that I disagree with. I don't actually have much to add. I talked about this the other day. Jacques Vaughn had a quote in his press conference after the trade demand, and he talked about the responsibility that you have as a player or a coach in the NBA. That responsibility is to show up every day and do your job and be a great teammate and be reliable. I'm not sure that Kyrie Irving takes that responsibility seriously. I think most players in the NBA take that responsibility very seriously. What's interesting to me, and Stephen A. alluded to this, I think is just the lack of self-awareness. That quote is cringy. That press conference is cringy because he's saying everything that he believes, but it's the exact opposite of the reality that we all saw play out over 3.5 years in Brooklyn. Look, there's nothing to disagree with here. I'm disappointed in this tenure. I thought for 33 games, we saw the best version of this duo of Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving together from when Jacques Vaughn took over to when Kevin Durant got hurt. I thought they were real title contenders. It was finally about basketball. There were no distractions. And then because he can't sign the contract, he doesn't want to, Brooklyn doesn't want to give him the full 4-year max, he makes the trade demand. And now we're back to square one where he's starting over in a new situation. I do personally, I wish him the best in Dallas. I hope it works out. I hope it works out for Luka's sake as well. This is a big risk for the Dallas Mavericks.
Tone deaf. It is completely clueless. It is off kilter. And listen, I'm telling you right now, somebody need to be drug tested. If it's not him, it's us, because he is living in a different world than reality with the quotes that he gave at that press conference yesterday. It makes no sense.
Okay.
And I also I disagree with Steve.
Last word here. We'll get into this in the second
It's
hour.
the halfway point of the season, a little beyond. They've had a pretty good year, thanks in large part to him. He let his team down. That team is on. They have a chance. They had a puncher's chance to win a championship once Durant comes back. And by him requesting that trade after a 46-point blowout and basically blowing up the franchise, he let his team down. And a great player who cares about his team and his city that he plays in does not let his team down.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.